Yo, what's up, people? It is TMQB for week number 9. After a couple of weeks on hiatus, we are back. Amazingly, only 4 weeks left to go in the season, and playoff picture is a bit fuzzy right now. Right now, there are only 3 teams pretty much out of the running. That would be Hoagie, Steel Curtain, and Guru, and pretty much everybody else is in play for a spot. We've got TNT and Why Not Us atop the Pacific with 6-3 records. Intimidators with a 4-5 record in that division. In the Northeast, Silent Death and the Cruisers are tied at the top at 5-4, with Poor Pickens sitting at 4-5. And in the Atlantic, Storm Brigade is 6-3. Cleveland Steamers 5-4. Panzers 4-5. A lot can happen in those 4 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see what shakes out. This week's games, game of the week, we'll go with Storm Brigade and Why Not Us, matchup of 2 division leaders. In the end, it was Storm Brigade with a 55-50 victory over Why Not Us. Quarterbacks were a wash. Drew Brees for Storm Brigade and Tony Romo for Why Not Us with 17 points apiece. Storm Brigade in the victory, 11 from Arian Foster, 7 from Jermichael Finley, 12 big points from the Green Bay Packers to push him to the victory. Why Not Us had 11 from his kicker, Dan Bailey. I think that was a pickup this week, actually, the previous week. Mike Wallace with 8 and Mario Manningham with 7. Panzers, Hoagie's Heroes. For a while, it looked like Hoagie would be the only one sitting at the bottom of the barrel, competing for that number 1 pick, but he's got a couple of wins. What is he now? In the last few weeks, Hoagie, he's won 2 in a row, and he defeats Panzers this week, 48-34. Big game from his kicker, Billy Cundiff, 11 points, 12 points from Big Ben Roethlisberger, 9 from Brandon Jacobs and Pierre Thomas, and 2 points from James Starks. Kind of a surprising start, but a couple of points. For Panzers, trouble at the quarterback position. It's been his bugaboo all year. Tavarius Jackson, 4 points. The only points of note, Brandon Marshall with 10, and Antonio Gates with 9. 48-34. That's your final score, with Hoagie taking the victory. Cleveland Steamers, Poor Pickens. Cleveland Steamers with a 62-41 victory. Poor Pickens got a phone call from Poor Pickens about an hour and a half into the games. It was nothing I could do to help. He was hung up at work, so a little bit different than the phone call I got previously with an owner bitching that it was my fault and blah blah blah. But just in general, if you are having a problem and you can't get to a computer all week, or you're stuck at work like Duffy was, call me and I can access your lineups and set lineup any way you want. But Cleveland Steamers gets the victory, 62-41. I'm looking at the bench players. I don't know if you add the 8, that's 49. Take away the 11, that's 30. He probably would have come up a little bit short if he had the optimal lineup in of Matt Ryan and Michael Turner in his lineup instead of Ryan Fitzpatrick and Derek Mason, or even Plaxico Burress. He would have lost with that optimal lineup. He probably would have lost by 2 points, but as it was, 62-41 is the final score. Cleveland Steamers, 18 points Tom Brady, 18 from Willis McGahee. Great decision to play Willis McGahee. 11 from Mike Tolbert. Stuff is breaking now for Cleveland Steamers with these lineup choices. 7 from Aaron Hernandez. For Poor Pickens, you got 11 from Ryan Fitzpatrick, 8 from Witten, 8 from Novak, 8 from Rashid Mendenhall. Not enough. Steel Curtain and Guru. Just as Steel Curtain has thrown in the towel on his season, he gets a victory, 68-50 over Guru. Another team that has thrown in the towel on his season. The Guru was the preseason favorite sort of the Philadelphia Eagles of the OFFL. But he comes away this week with a 68-50 loss to push his record to 3-6 and essentially out of the playoff picture. For Steel Curtain, what can you say? Aaron Rodgers, you got Aaron Rodgers on your team. There's not much that you can do wrong. Another big week, 30 points. 10 from Jordy Nelson for that hookup. 13 from his kicker, David Akers. And 4 from Antonio Brown for Guru. Michael Vick, 5 points. Kind of pathetic from that player from a fantasy standpoint. 10 from Michael Bush, 6 from DeMarco Murray. That kid's a player. I can see Guru trading him in the playoff push because that kid will probably be a consistent point scorer for somebody in the playoff hunt. 7 from Greg Jennings, 6 from the Eagles defense, and 8 from kicker Gostkowski. Anybody looking for a quarterback, you might want to hit up Steel Curtain. He has 24 points from Carson Palmer sitting on the bench, 11 from Josh Freeman, and 18 from Tim Tebow. This from the guy that has Aaron Rodgers as his QB. Next game, TNT and the Cruisers. Bold talk from TNT, and it came back to haunt a little bit. He takes the loss at the hands of the Cruisers, who have now put themselves in a position to make the playoffs after a couple of down seasons. 5-4 record. Big game from Phillip Rivers, 31 points. 9 from Darren Sproles, 8 from Ray Rice, 7 from Santonio Holmes, 9 from Mason Crosby. Good week for Cruisers. For TNT, Matt Hasselbeck got him 17 points, 9 points from Shady McCoy, and 7 from Gonzalez, his tight end, and 8 from Sean Sweezum. Little crimp in the youngsters' plans, but he still sits tied atop Pacific Division with a 6-3 record. Final game of the week, still Silent Death and Intimidators. Victory for Silent Death, 47-40. A couple of teams that are duking it out for positioning. Silent Death took the victory to climb atop the Northeast with a 5-4 record. The loss drops the Intimidators under 500 at 4-5. For Silent Death, not much from his high-scoring quarterback, Matty Schaub. Only got him 8. It was his tight end, Rob Gronkowski, that got him 10. 9 from his kicker, Casey. 6 from the Cardinals' special teams, which was huge. And 7 from David Nelson. For the Intimidators, decisions on who to start and who not to start. In particular, Chris Beanie Wells has been a total pain in his ass. When he doesn't play him, he scores. When he does play him, he doesn't do dick. 17 points for Eli Manning, 5 for Wes Welker, only 2 for Marquise Colston, and the big point scorer besides Eli was 12 from his kicker, Neil Rackers. So that'll do it for the week. An interesting set of games coming up this week that will determine playoff positioning. 4 games left, as I mentioned. Then we head to division games, which will definitely decide our division leaders and our playoff matchups. I'm not going to break down playoff chances and what has to be done just yet. It's too tight. I guess that'll do it for this week. Remember the new waiver wire system online. I don't have much control over anything anymore. I feel a little disconnected from the league a bit, just because I don't have my hands on everything. If you do pick up a player to rent, what you have to do is let's say you're renting a kicker, put your kicker that you currently have on IR. Then go and rent your kicker. Then please, by Tuesday, drop that rental player. I'm trying to keep up with it, but sometimes it's tough to know who is a rental and who's a regular transaction. So, all right, be well, have a good week. Thursday night game, don't forget, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace.